Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles, but I am going to give you a daily dose of dismal Disney. Disney stock is down under $90. It's not looking too good for them. We're going to talk about this because, we have a lot of media outlets saying that Disney is not going to be in a very good place next year, especially with the opening of Universal. And their movie slate doesn't look too hot, and they're laying people off, and it's not looking too good. This feels like a company that's in a bit of a panic, right? For all their talk of, hey, we're turning things around, we have their stock dropping, and this is after Deadpool Wolverine did well, after the announcement of Robert Downey Jr. coming back to the MCU. Didn't seem like it did very much for them, did it? It's not looking too good. So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. No woohoos today. She's not here. She will be back, and I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to talk about. So Disney stock dropping. It's interesting because Motley Fool put up an article talking about how things are looking great, guys. Things are looking fantastic. And the only comment on this article, every time Motley Fool puts out an article about the Diz, the stock goes down. Let's see what happens today. And that was a couple days ago, and absolutely the stock went down, guys. It's not looking too good. This is coming from Investopedia. What you need to know ahead of Disney's earnings report. Disney will report third quarter earnings before Wednesday's opening bell. I think people already have an indicator of what that's going to look like, and I think that is why things are dropping, in my opinion. Analysts expect Disney to swing a profit, though. After the company reported a loss in the prior quarter, investors will likely be watching for strength in the company's experiences segment, driven by parks and cruises. That might be a huge mistake. I don't think their park attendance is going to spike anytime soon. The company is also going to provide updates on the streaming business. The experiences are going to account for a lot of the revenue, and things are not looking good. In fact, we have websites that used to really support Disney, like allears.net, saying that Disney is predicting their theme park attendance is going to decrease next year, and that's probably because of Universal opening Epic Universe. We have Disney tourist blogs. Summer is still not doing very well at Disney World. This was last month. A lot of people saying that the crowds are not what they normally are at Disney. And I think the finances have a lot to do with it. Disney is incredibly expensive now. It's incredibly confusing. I think Lightning Lane, Fast Pass, Genie Plus, all of that is confusing people, angering people, and they're just not going. Plus, the economy in general is kind of tanking right now, and people just don't have the money to go. But like, you look up attendance and it's all bad news. It's all bad news. So let's talk about layoffs. Just kind of encapsulate this, that they are going to really start slashing jobs next week. We already reported that they're going to be laying people off at ABC, but it's not looking good. They said they're going to face significant cuts as Disney slashes budgets across its networks, even affecting top-rated shows like Good Morning America. They're not going to get rid of any of the hosts, though. If I remember correctly, they're not going to get rid of the people that cost like $10, $12 million a year. They're going to keep them, but they're going to get rid of producers. They said starting on Wednesday, they're going to start slashing jobs from Nat Geo, Freeform, ABC News. And they're doing this right before the earnings call too. Isn't that weird? I don't think it's going to go the way that people are trying to say it's going to go, that they're going to have this massive profit. They might. I mean, look, they might, but the fact that they are slashing jobs ahead of the earnings call, and they have already made the announcement that they're going to be slashing jobs. The fact that the Motley Fool is going to bat for them, and as people correctly pointed out, and as Geeky points out all the time, every time the Motley Fool tries to do damage control for Disney, the stock drops. The fact that the stock is dropping tells me that investors aren't feeling too good about where Disney is going to be. And we're not going to see the Deadpool Wolverine money until the next call, right? But I think they're looking at the long term, and they're like, it's not looking good for them. This is come from Inside the Magic little bit of a personal beef with these people, but anyway, we'll talk about it. They actually kind of put it all in one place. It said Disney begins layoffs as stocks attendance rates plummet across parks and company. It said in a summer where things continue to go wrong for the House of Mouse, the company is now laying off its workforce, leading to more unfortunate news for the theme park and entertainment giant. I don't think this is the end of the layoffs. I think we're going to see more layoffs after the earnings call, because Disney's fiscal year, again, remember, it starts in October, beginning of October. It ends in September. So if you're going to see layoffs at Disney, you're going to see them definitely in August and September. And I would not be surprised if between now and the end of September, they have more layoffs, especially if Wednesday isn't good. I'm just saying. They said they're laying off 2% of their workforce. We talked about that before. Nat Geo, I'm shocked it's still around. I'm going to be honest. They said the layoffs are part of a broader effort to streamline operations and align with the company's evolving strategy in the face of changing media consumption habits. Basically, Disney Plus is not bringing it like they thought it was. They spent way too much money on it. They said the reduction in staff is part of a cost-cutting strategy that's been in the works for several months now. No, I think they're adding to it. I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah, we're gonna see Inside Out 2 and Deadpool money. I think probably next earnings call. Well, let's see, June. We might hear something about it, but they said that layoffs, particularly in the linear networks, integral to Disney's content distribution, underscores the company's need to prioritize its most profitable and strategically essential assets while scaling back on those no longer align with long-term goals. What is Disney's long-term goal? I don't even know what their goal is anymore. Survival? I mean, their goal isn't to gobble up everything that they can. I mean, that was Bob Iger's first tenure. He basically just gobbled up everything. Now it just seems like it's survival, trying to make as much money out of what they have, but they keep making a lot of dumb mistakes too. I mean, it's going to take years for them to course correct. The biggest problem though for them, I think, is going to be the theme parks. I think that the park attendance is what is an indicator more than the Hollywood stuff of the health of this company. And it's not looking too good for them. This has come from all ears. They said Disney predicts theme park attendance will decrease in 2025. And we think we know why. This was like a month ago, but a lot of people have been calling this out. Man, we've been calling it out. People call us Nazis when we called it out. So when it comes to overall financial numbers, Disney revealed revenue did increase by 1% compared to both last year and the past 6 months. This quarter revenues increased to $22.1 billion. This is their last earnings call. But they said that they're going to expect a lot of people to not book a trip next year. So this is where I think people are going to get hung up on, because he said that they have one-time expenses occurring in Q3. And if we were to back out one-timers for both Q3 and Q4, we'd expect profit for the quarter to be in the mid to high single-digit range for Q3 and double-digit for Q4. So I certainly feel like the parks business is doing very, very well. Is it still, because the attendance is down? But yeah, they said before, they said the last earnings call, they said this quarter was not going to be as good as people were hoping. So I think that could have something to do with the stock price dropping. I don't know. They could pull a rabbit out of their hat. I kind of wonder sometimes that they don't try to set everybody up expecting the worst possible scenario, and then when it doesn't happen, they're like, "Oh, Disney's doing great." But it's always a short-term bump. Like, I've been watching Disney stock. I sold mine when it was like $180 some a share. I sold it high. I got out because I'm like, yeah, Disney never goes this high. Like, it's never going to be this high again. I wish I'd sold it when it was like $200 a share, but live and learn. But they tend to flatline around $100 a share, 110. That's kind of where Disney is, or has been for the last several years. And I don't expect Disney to ever pull a Netflix and be, $500, $600, $700 a share. That is never going to happen. I don't think so. I don't think it's ever going to happen in general. I think eventually what will happen with Disney, and I could be wrong in this, but I think they will possibly just let somebody else handle the technical side of things for Disney Plus and Hulu, because it's too expensive to try to be a tech company too. And I think they'll go back to just wanting to produce content. and run their theme parks. That's a personal opinion. I think this could be 5 or 10 years down the road. But if Disney keeps getting its ass kicked by Netflix, and they hit a ceiling on the number of streaming subscribers that they can get, and they keep losing money on it, it would make more sense just to put your content on Netflix. I mean, that's what they should have done in the first place, right? But they wanted to chase infinite growth, and it's not possible. So yeah, I don't think this quarter is going to be very good for them. Again, I could be wrong, but we're already seeing layoffs. We're seeing a stock drop, and the Motley Fool is saying everything's going to be fantastic. And if they're saying it's going to be fantastic, like this commenter said, it's not going to be fantastic. It's not going to be fantastic at all. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.